November 1st, 2024. Daily Bread. Passage 2 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 1 through verse 12. Key verse 6. Title: ABSALOM'S Conspiracy. In the course of time, Absalom provided himself with a chariot and horses, and with 50 men to run ahead of him. He would get up early and stand by the side of the road leading to the city gate. Whenever anyone came with a complaint to be placed before the king for a decision, Absalom would call out to him, "What town are you from?" He would answer, "Your servant is from one of the tribes of Israel." Then Absalom would say to him, "Look, your claims are valid and proper, but there is no representative of the king to hear you." And Absalom would add, "If only I were appointed judge in the land, then everyone who has a complaint or case could come to me, and I would see that they receive justice." Also, whenever anyone approached him to bow down before him, Absalom would reach out his hand, take hold of him, and kiss him. Absalom behaved in this way toward all the Israelites who came to the king asking for justice. And so he stole the hearts of the people of Israel. At the end of 4 years, Absalom said to the king, "Let me go to Hebron and fulfill a vow I made to the Lord." While your servant was living at Geshur in Aram, I made this vow: if the Lord takes me back to Jerusalem, I will worship the Lord in Hebron. The king said to him, "Go in peace." So he went to Hebron. Then Absalom sent secret messengers throughout the tribes of Israel to say, "As soon as you hear the sound of the trumpets, then say, 'Absalom is king in Hebron.'" 200 men from Jerusalem had accompanied Absalom. They had been invited as guests and went quite innocently, knowing nothing about the matter. While Absalom was offering sacrifices, he also sent for Ahithophel, the Gilonite, David's counselor, to come from Gilho, his hometown. And so the conspiracy gained strength, and Absalom's following kept on increasing. Daily Bread Message. After his reconciliation with David, Absalom prepared to rebel. But first, he needed the hearts of the people. He organized chariots, horses, and 50 bodyguards for himself, as if he were king. He stood by the city gate and met those who came to the king for trial. He stirred up discontent, inducing complaints against the king. Absalom was political. He skillfully acted as if he were a fair and humble leader who could reform the current situation and replace the king. After winning people's hearts for 4 years, he carried out the next step of his plan to commit treason by making himself king in Hebron. Knowing that he needed people to endorse his kingship, he took 200 men from Jerusalem and invited David's counselor, Ahithophel. In this way, the conspiracy grew strong. Absalom succeeded in his rebellion, but he forgot what was vital. Although he could fool people, he could not fool God. Even if he could deceive and steal people's hearts, he couldn't deceive the heart of God. Absalom also ignored the fact that a king of Israel was not made by his own strength, nor people's support, but by God's anointing. Are we putting our trust in the eyes of people and their judgment, or in the eyes of God? At the center of our decisions must be God, who is in control. Prayer. Lord, my life can be built on your will. Help me to walk in your way and trust in your leadership. One word: submit to God's will humbly.